Hello, everybody, and hi, Marieke. Good to have you with us on this live Q&A.
Hi, nice to be here.
Right, so thank you for that amazing session on content SEO. I personally learned a lot of things. I was closely watching the session, so I'm looking at all the questions that we've got. I can see that the people who watched the session have been just as enthusiastic about it because this was an amazing session. So thank you so much, first of all, from all of us for being here at WordCamp India and for doing this amazing session. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was lovely to be presenting at WordCamp India. I've
Nice.
never been to India before, so I'm pleased to at least be here virtually.
Yes. So hopefully, when the pandemic is over, I hope we can have you. As you mentioned in the session, I hope we can have you with us at some
Yeah,
point.
for sure.
Yes. Yes. All right. So I think we can move on to the questions. I can see that we have quite a few questions. So are you ready to take some questions?
Yes. Come on.
Amazing. All right. So to kick off, the first question is: how relevant are backlinks in 2021?
Backlinks are always relevant and they'll stay relevant. So it's just the way that the Google algorithm works. So it's really important to have high quality backlinks, have other websites linking towards your content. And it's also really important to have backlinks that make sense and to receive backlinks in a proper way. So paying for links or even trading links, that doesn't work in the long run. But having other websites, referring to you and saying, hey, this is a good website, that's still really important. Yeah, backlinks are always important. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for clarifying. So I'm sure a lot of people had that question, and I think that was a very direct and straightforward answer, and I hope that helps folks. All right, moving on to the next question, which is a very interesting one. So the question is, what is the future of voice search in SEO, and how do you optimize for them?
Yeah, well, I can't look into the future, so I can only say what I think will be the future. I think Google is really invested in voice search. And the reason why I think so is because we see that Google is so really good in learning how to understand texts. So that gives me the idea, well, Google is getting better and better at it. I personally, I don't enjoy talking to a computer because it never understands me. And so I think it's not good enough to really grasp meaning in a voice way, because we all talk English differently. If I say to my Google Home, because I have one, I say, oh, I'm afraid I'm not going to say it now because then it happens. Then I'll say, Google, close the curtains. Then Google talks back to me in Dutch, which is really good. So I don't know if it's going to be this big because I don't really believe in it. But if Google does, that does mean that the demands of your readability are going up, because if you have to listen to text, that's really hard. Try to listen to a text. That's like almost undoable if a text isn't well structured, or if sentences are really long. So I think it's really good to have that in mind, that with voice search, the demands of your texts will become higher and higher. And we'll see in what way voice search will take over. I think my husband is really is going to be big, and I'm a bit more reluctant. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, fingers crossed. So
Yeah.
there's a side comment on that. I've seen my kid cousins, younger people, they seem to rely a lot on voice search because they don't want to type. So
Yeah.
that's been an interesting observation I've seen.
Yeah, that could be the case. Yeah, so if people are reluctant to type, then that's the thing. But I think then maybe you will search in voice, but you still need a screen to see the results, because if you have to listen to it, that's really hard. So I could imagine that voice search, as your voice is going to be the thing that's doing the search, will go on, but listening to snippets. So we do that in the car if we're driving and we can't type it in. Then my husband is going to ask things, and then we listen to the results, and we're like, I don't know how to, and you can't choose anymore. So then it would be a single result. So I think you'll need your voice, but you also always need a display to show the results if you're searching for information.
Right. Excellent answer. Thank you so much, Marieke. So moving on to the next question. So What are your thoughts on Google rich results? And this question is from Yashwardhan.
Well, they're getting really, really important. So the rich results are those nice snippets that you have in the search results with a pretty pictures and the stars beneath them, and you'll get them by adding schema to your website. And I think so. It will not lead to a higher ranking per se, but if your search result stands out, then people will be more inclined to click on it just because it looks nicer. You want to click that result, it just stands out. And then in the end, it will lead to higher rankings because more and more people click on your result. So I think schema, rich results will be getting more important as we go on. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Thank you. Right. So another question from Yashwardhan, and he asks, should one make sure to get the content structured in accordance to rank higher?
So here this is not a schema question. This is a content question.
Yeah, this is a content question. Yes.
I think yes. So you need to have good content because Google is getting better and better in having and understanding content. Your page needs to be structured. It needs to be clear how it's written, but also it needs to be structured in the way that the internal linking structure should be structured, because Google's always crawling through your website, and that's the way you're indexing. So content should be structured on the page and between pages. Structuring content, very important. Yes.
Right. Awesome. Right. So moving on to the next question, which is more of a general one. So Riaz, he asks, what is the best practice for a single page as well as for multiple pages, multiple page websites? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't like single pages.
You and I, both of us.
I do understand why people want them and they look really nice, but I'm not, SEO wise, it's pretty hard because well, you only have one page, so you'll need to have sections on them. So a multiple page website is much easier to have like a proper SEO content strategy, which makes it harder on a single page. But it's not, it can't be done, and there are reasons why you should choose a single page website. But if you can avoid it, I wouldn't. And if I would do that, and if you want to know more, we have a post about this, about single pages on our on yoast.com.
Awesome. So if you could tweet out about this or share the link, that would be great. We can share with the attendees later.
Can I just put it in our chat?
Yes, please. Yeah. I can pass it along and we can get somebody to tweet it out. Right. So thank you for that. I've gotten the link. So that is an excellent answer. And to summarize, so you're saying that multiple page websites are always better for SEO rather than single page websites. Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. So moving on to the next question. It's again from Yashwardhan. He asks, idea strategies to do keyword researches. So essentially the question is on what are idea strategies to do keyword researches in 2021. And he also asks about any tools that we can use and how to filter out keywords while doing that. So do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I do. My first tool that I think everybody should use is their head, because people are just always into having multiple tools and making it really, really easy to do keyword research, but it's not, and you need to think about it. So I think my first tip would always be just take some time and think about your audience. Talk to your audience, because you need to have their words and their search terms. And the only way to really figure that out is to talk to them and to think about what makes your website stand out. So do that first. And then we have some tools. I really like SEMrush, and we have an integration with it in our plugin. And you for free, at least if you up to 10 keywords, you can use them for free. And it really helps to figure out, once you have an idea, oh, this is what I want to search for, to figure out if that in fact is the best term. So you'll need to do some thinking, and then you'll need to do some adjusting. And of course, you can also do it in Google Trends and stuff, and make sure that you're having the keyword that's actually searched for the most, because you could make some mistakes in that. But I'm not a tool person. I'm a thinking person. Yeah.
Right. So that was an amazing answer. Thank you so much, Marieke. Right. So moving on to the next question, which is again from Riaz. So he's asking about cannibalization. So the section where you spoke about cannibalization. So how often, I mean, in terms of frequency, do we need to optimize the content in order for Google to crawl back again and again? So
Google will come come to your website depending on how often you change your content. So then you should optimize or change or rewrite a bit, but also on the number of visitors you have on your website, and also on the number of backlinks. So it depends on a lot of things, how often Google will come by and crawl through your website. Changing if it's a trick, then it doesn't work. That's my answer for everything. So if you really should make sure that the content is optimized and offers something new. So don't go changing like a few words every now and then, just in order to get Google to come back and crawl a little bit more. That won't work. But if you really change your content and make it better, then that would be a good strategy, because you're showing Google, hey, the content on my website is really fresh and up to date, and I'm adding and improving. So, but I don't have like an answer, and I'm to say 3 times a week. I can't say that. So as much as is needed for your content, that would be my answer then.
Right. So just to summarize, make sure that changes are made, but don't just change 1 or 2 words. And there's no actual frequency. It all depends on the person and the site, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marieke. So moving on to another question that we have. I can see that we also have a few questions in chat. I hope you don't mind answering them. We're getting them in the live chat as we see. Awesome. Right. So this is from Yashvardhan again, if I'm not wrong. So the question is, what is the importance of the new way of sharing content via stories? I think he's referring to Google Web Stories. Yeah. So even Google rolled out the Web Stories plugin, and every other content platform is shifting towards this format of content. So can you answer that for us?
Well, it seems like, and I'm not one of them, but the new people, the young people, like this way of receiving information. So if it's important to the user, and it kind of is, because people seem to like it, then it will also be important to Google. So Google is rolling this out because, well, every other popular platform is showing information in that way, and then it gets important. So it all depends on your audience a bit, I think. So at Yoast, we also have an audience which is not the very youngest people. No, I don't know why, but every time we do so we don't have the like the 15-year-olds. I don't think they're interested in SEO yet. But in order to receive in order to reach those, you'll need to have other strategies, and web stories would be one of them. So I think it's really important to reach your audience, and then you need to do that as well. Yeah, we're not on Snapchat, but we are. No, you're not. But we are taking like YouTube much more serious than a few years ago, because, well, I have a son and he's almost 15 now, and he says, "Mom, I'm never going to read an article. I want to listen to it, or I want to watch a video," which makes video more important to reach your audience.
Nice. Awesome. So I have a very quick follow-up question on that from my own end. So I think related to stories, we also have Core Web Vitals. I think you made some references to it, even though you've not explicitly mentioned that. So how important is Core Web Vitals to content SEO, or is that part of technical SEO?
I don't understand the question. Sorry.
So Google has launched this feature called Core Web Vitals, right? So
yeah,
I mean, they use that a lot for ranking. So can anything be done in the content to influence that, or is that part of technical SEO?
I think that's part of technical SEO, but the gist of it, just making sure that your site is healthy, that's the same for content SEO. And that means you just need to write something that's really, really awesome and nice to read for your audience. Yeah.
Nice. Right. So that's all the questions that we got from the premiere. We have a few live questions. I hope you don't mind me asking them to you. Awesome. Right. So the next question that we have is pretty straightforward. So it's how to make findable content. I know it's a bit of a general question, but if you could share.
How do you do that? How to make it findable? I think there are a few things you can do in order to make content more findable, and we help you with that with our plugin. Make sure you have a really awesome meta description. Make sure to use your keyword in the meta description. Use it in the title. Make sure to use it in the first paragraph. The most important thing in this is don't over-optimize, because then you'll be less findable. So make sure that your content stays enjoyable to read, has like a nice message, and then add some tweaks to it that will make it easier for Google to understand what it's about. Use synonyms, use words that belong together, because that will make it, for Google, make it easier to understand what your site is about. And use structured data. So if you have like a frequently asked question post, help Google to grasp that content with a frequently asked question schema format. So schema is also a thing that helps Google to understand the things that it's not that good at, and make that better. So schema is also a really good tip to make more findable content.
Right. Awesome. So moving on to the final question. So it's from Sandeep Raman. Sandeep asks, I'm going to highlight the question in a moment. Yeah. So Sandeep asks, marketers are moving towards, it's related to the question that we spoke of earlier about videos. So marketers are moving towards videos as people like to search and watch videos on YouTube. So are there any plans for yours to analyze YouTube video description plus titles for SEO best practices?
Now, yeah, we should have that, right? Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, no, not yet, but it's a great idea. So we have a video plugin, but that's really to help it rank high in Google, and we're not helping to rank high in YouTube yet. I don't think we're the best in ranking high in YouTube. There are other people, and I don't know how to do that yet, but we are looking into that, which we're currently also collaborating with people that are really, really experts on YouTube and on video, in order to do that. But I myself, I hate video. Oh, I'm here now. I'm on video. Hi. But no, but I'm like a reader. So I always think, watching a video for 5 minutes, I can read really fast. So I prefer to read. So we actually are now collaborating with some really good YouTube experts, and at least to get some blog posts running on how to really do YouTube correctly. But it would be the best if we had like a good tool for that as well. So we'll do our best, Sandeep. That's all I can do right now.
Thank you so much for the amazing answer. And about the reading part, you and I have that also in common. I also prefer reading rather than watching videos. All right, so that brings us to the end of the Q&A. We don't have any more questions, but I'm sure that the attendees at WordCamp India have a lot of SEO questions to ask you. So if you have a few minutes, please do join us on Zoom. I'm going to share the Zoom link privately with you, Marieke.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So everybody who's listening in, I'm sure you also have a lot of questions to ask Marieke. If you want to, please check out our private Zoom room. So the link is in the WordCamp India website itself. If you go there to the Watch Now page, you can get the link. And thank you so much again, once again, Marieke, for that amazing session and an even more amazing Q&A. We really, really appreciate it. And I hope, as you said, we can find you in person in India at some point in time. So
yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.